Every day to study one chapter of Rambam. And this is what we're offering. Sinai Down Under is offering. And I'm sure at the end of this program, you'll see the times of when this daily study group will be on. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's always so exciting to start learning, and the way that you've inspired us and all our guests have inspired us. Hopefully everyone will be logging on tomorrow and will actually be learning every day at these shiurs. I think it will be on the Facebook page all the different times, and also we'll be sending out a survey to everyone. So if there's things you want to learn more about or any comments you have, please fill those out and send them back. Now, our next guest is Rabbi Mendel, who is the director of Chabad of Dingley and Cheltenham. Chabad of Dingley is Melbourne's newest Chabad centre. It's located in the outer southeast Melbourne. Hopefully it will reopen soon. We're really hoping for everyone in Melbourne. And it's got a very fast growing young Jewish community. Tonight, Rabbi Haller will be talking about the Rambam's perspective on the role of Christianity and Islam. And he'll also be interviewing a very special guest, Wayne Myers. Welcome.
Hi, Tali. Thank you so much. Thanks for your work with Sinai Down Under. I'm going to start off with a question. When you think back at the last 2,000 years, think of the last 2,000 years and think of Christianity and Islam from a Jewish perspective. How would you say we as Jews look at Christianity and Islam? So on the one hand, I'm assuming you're probably thinking, well, we have suffered tremendously, particularly in the hands of Christianity, probably more recently in the hands of Islam. So Christianity, of course, we know there's the Crusaders, and we had expulsions almost every decade, somewhere in the world, especially in Europe. Jews were suffering at the hands of Christians. On the other hand, you could say, the Muslims weren't so great either, particularly in recent history, but even in more ancient history, the Rambam himself suffered tremendously by the hands of extremist Islam. He had to escape from Cordova, etc. That's the one picture that you could look at Christianity and Islam. The second thing you could say, but hold on a second, they also brought a whole tradition and teachings to Judaism. So, sorry, not to Judaism, to the world. So they also adopted all that Judaism has, but they changed almost everything. So what do we think about that? Taking Jewish teachings, the Christians have taken our Torah, the Bible, and called it the Old Testament and added a whole new section to it. And then the Muslims are then taking our Torah and really rephrasing and attaching new names to it. So why do I bring this up? First of all, because it's connected somewhat to our next speaker, but also the Rambam, Maimonides, in the second last chapter, he actually talks about this idea. He talks about both the Christian leader, Messiah Jesus, that he was, as he refers to Yeshua Notzri, you could look at him as a terrible calamity. And he was a terrible calamity. It caused many people, Jews' lives to be lost, and many people actually lost their faith because of it or turned towards Christianity as a result. So you could look at it as something negative. But he actually says something which is quite, in my opinion, quite fantastic or really interesting. He says, the whole concept of Christianity and Islam was there to pave the world, to teach us two major concepts. Number one, to teach the world monotheism, about the one God, even though he himself did not believe that Christianity was a monotheistic religion, but they still taught the general concept of a God. But more importantly, they taught the concept of Mashiach, of the Messiah to the world. And on the one hand, you could say, well, is that great? Is that important? Rambam is famous for categorizing the 13 central fundamental principles of our Jewish faith. And in them, he says that one of the most fundamental beliefs in our system, in Judaism, is the concept of the Mashiach, that we don't just do this because God wants us to do these laws and live our lives as good people. There's actually an ultimate purpose to all of this. This is a Jewish concept. And you may think, well, just because Christianity adopted it and took it and made their Messiah, or Islam, it may be something negative. Rambam kind of turns that upside down, and he says, actually, Christianity and Islam, they were the ones that taught the rest of the world. And we know today that some two-thirds or maybe even half of the world population falls within the two categories, the two biggest religions, Islam and Christianity. So it's just, the way I see it, is it's an incredible way how, yes, we've suffered tremendously in their hands. And in some ways we would say, well, it's all bad. But you could also, the Rambam takes it and says, this allowed God, or this is God's way of, so to speak, preparing us for the ultimate purpose of why we were all created, for the whole of creation and all of the suffering and all those things that may have happened. They were part of a greater picture. Now, I'm not trying to answer why we have suffering and all those things. That's a topic in and of itself. But for the short time, I thought it was a beautiful thing that Rambam talks about this concept when he talks about Mashiach in the second last chapter, which we actually read today. And I'm going to now lead us on to into our